All right. What up, guys? I'll give you all a minute to get back on here. we had some kind of we dropped out, bottomed out again. I don't know what happened on that one. So I'll give you guys a minute to get the show back going again. Sheesh. I don't know what the deal was with that. That was insane, yo. I don't know what had happened. Oh, yes. Internet. Ain't love grand. All right. Yeah. We had a little bit of an issue there. Lost some, I don't know if I lost internet for just like 10 seconds or whatever. I just got a warning, and all of a sudden I was like, uh-oh, things aren't looking good. And I was right in the middle of explaining that. Yes, Adam G says pimp in distress. Sam H says, what the heck? Ricky Bobby. And yes, Keith says, and we're back. Yeah, I'm going to give it a minute just to kind of pick back up quickly here. I don't know what happened. Just had a little hiccup. I think it's the first hiccup we've had using Ecamm, and I doubt it was their fault. It was probably my internet, which had like just a little wrinkle. It happens sometimes. Matt N says, yo, and Scotty B's back. What up, bro? I do want to shout out Jackson, though, for his super chat that I was like in the middle of preparing to say. He says, what's the ceiling and floor with this team? Also, I know it's early, but who do you think might leave? Yeah, that's a great question. So, Zep, let me see if this still is up to date. I haven't updated this in a minute. Yeah, so I guess this is pretty much up to date. Kind of working our way from the top. Zep is an interesting case. There's going to be, so Aiden comes in, as someone described this to me, that he's the prototypical Auburn point guard. So Aiden's going to be a factor next year. I mean, you'd think Wynn's going to stay, but we'll see how it goes. I love Trey Donaldson. I love the way he's coming along, and I think he's a guy that's going to be here for a minute. Zep's going to be gone. KD is an interesting case. I don't know what to say about that one. I think Westry will be here. Simo's a guy you keep. Flanagan's a guy who probably goes pro. I mean, I thought he came pretty close last year. So I think he might go pro, and I know you guys might be rolling your eyes at that one, but I mean, maybe he goes and he plays overseas for a while and makes a bunch of money that way. Marco Killingsworth did that, and it worked. Jay Will, I think, has got 1 year left, and I would be surprised if he didn't leave. Traore obviously back, Broom obviously back, Dillon back, and then Stretch to me is probably gone. We'll just have to kind of see how that goes. So to me, that's probably two. That's Zep and Stretch probably gone. I would expect one more person to go. Whether that's Wen, whether that's KD, or whether that's Al. I don't know. I think you lose three off this roster right here, including Stretch and Zep for sure. So that's kind of how I see it right there. Got a super chat coming through from CDF, my main man in Houston. What up, bro? It says, pay yo bill. Give me a laugh on that one. Oh, you won't give me a laugh. You're going to give me an applause on that one? Pocket Watch says, doesn't Stretch have to go? I don't think he has to. I don't know, though. I'd have to do a little more investigation of that. Because I was talking about this with somebody the other day, and they were like, I don't know. And I was like, well, I mean, probably does need to go. But I don't know. We'll have to see what goes on that. Again, I'm sorry that I dropped that stream. That's probably some kind of internet issue. Because I think this platform here is stable. Those of you who have been part of the show for a long time, I know we got a bunch of those folks here. D Lucky being one of them, Scotty B being one of them, Cleveland Brown, Pocket. Remember how we used to have like 5 or 6 drops in a frickin' show when I used OBS, and switched over here to Ecamm for its stability. So I'm kind of bummed that it ever broke down. But sometimes it happens. Adam G says, who's a senior on this basketball team? I mean, it's hard to say who's a senior, right? Because people are seniors for 2 years. But let me go to Auburn's official website because I don't want to misspeak and have somebody jump me about it. Officially a senior on this roster is Jalen, Zep, Babatunde, Lior, Chandler Leopard, poor guy, Jalen Harper. All right, so among the scholarship guys, the seniors are Jalen and Zep and Stretch. But Stretch, he has played. This is his 4th season. But he also gets a COVID year if he wants it. So he could go for another season. But, I mean, dude, I don't know, man. I mean, he is strictly 100% a scout team player at this point. So that's what I was thinking. Matt says, how many can leave? I mean, a bunch can leave. Canoeman. My man jumping in with a super chat here says 2 drains in one night. I got 2 drains. 2 drains in one night. Auburn Hoops and Murdaws. Yes, he wanted to talk. I think he was joking, but he was talking about the Alex Murdaugh murder trial from, I believe it's South Carolina. I have not kept up with that one as closely, brother. I am interested in it. This is the lawyer, the attorney, who clearly killed his wife and his son and then tried to get away with it by changing his clothes and whatnot. But, yeah. I haven't caught up with it. I've had enough. There's enough bad news out there right now. I don't really want to get involved in any more stuff to just get us down. So, yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting offseason. You've got the only person you got coming in for sure is Aiden Holloway, right, to play point guard. And so at that point, assuming that, I mean, if Wen stays and Trey stays, well, there's another point guard, and Aiden is a point guard. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like someone's got to go there, and Wen might be the one. I don't know. It might just make sense for him. AULaw20 says, I was lost walking out of airport and nada. Yeah, I was lost too, bro. I'm sitting here thinking everything's Gucci, and then my viewer count went from like 95 to 0. And I go, that's not good. I've seen this story before, and it ain't good. But I've never had it happen on this particular application, so I was a little bit lost on that one. I realized tonight I'm using a slightly out-of-date operating system on the Apple, so I may have to update that tomorrow and see what happens if good things are going. Canoeman says the Murdaugh trial and overall situation there is absolutely fascinating. The murders are only the tip of the iceberg. Wow, you've got my excitement going there, bro. I will have to keep up with it then. Because if the murder is like a sideshow of this story, that means you really got some good stuff going on. Scotty B says, Stretch got to go and play somewhere else, unless he just likes that NIL check. I mean, probably better than my gig. Ha, ha, ha. Got him. Auburn played a pretty central role in him getting the visa to come to America to start with, and he asked his girlfriend to marry him recently, which she said yes. So, I mean, he's trying to get a family going here, and I don't know. We'll just kind of see how that goes. He may have to play to keep the visa now for now. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I don't know. There's an answer, and I just haven't asked because he's not a person I think about very often, No disrespect. I just don't, Stretch is not somebody I'm asking about very often or hear about very often. Blake R. says percentage chance that Janai comes back. To me, that's 100%. I have absolutely no reason to believe he would leave. I don't think he's NBA ready. I think he's happy here. I think he's featured here. I think he's getting good coaching here. And I think they're going to continue to make him a central feature of the offense. I think he will be. I 100%. I think he's an absolute rock solid. He's really good here. I think it's a great opportunity for him here. Let's see. AULaw20 says, FYI, the free Wi-Fi on Delta. Wow. Yeah, lamp it a little bit more, buddy. Works well enough to watch the ESPN app. Interesting. Trevor T in the house is Ward M. Eagle. Glad to have you here, Trevor. Appreciate that. And again, Trevor, we just restarted our stream after some kind of a screw-up on my end. I don't know what happened, so we ended up losing a bunch of people, but that's the way it goes. And it's a Wednesday night, so, sometimes bad things happen. I don't know. It's crazy. Solo Tigre says she said yes, and he said wow. I don't know if that's like a meme or that's actually what happened. I feel like there was a video. I didn't watch it, but I should have. Awatuga. You almost made me think Autauga, but it's Awatuga. Says, I believe Zepp's the only one who's out of eligibility at the end of the season. I think you're right on that. I do. I mean, I think Stretch can leave. I mean, I think he'd be a senior, and if he's not playing, you'd think maybe he'd want to do that. Jay Will, I think, has got a little bit more to show, but we'll see. Ravine says, could you imagine if we had a strong four-man to help Broom bang around in the paint? That thought just excites me. Yeah, and how about Flory Badunga reclassifying to the 2023 class? How about that, huh? And if he were to choose Auburn, and you'd have a 7-foot center with a dynamic ability to play both offense and defense to go with Janai and Jalen? I mean, that probably affects Janai a little bit more, but I mean, if he's only going to play, like tonight, he was the most dominant player on the floor. He played 22 minutes. I mean, let's just say he can pack in a whole night in 22, 25 minutes. I mean, that would still leave a lot of opportunities for Badunga. They could kind of riff off of each other. You almost could play Jalen at 3. I'm not sure he can defend at 3, but he could shoot at 3. Marquise Parker in the house gives us a War Damn Eagle. What's up, bro? Glad to have you here on the show, Marquise. And AU Law 20 says, no lamp. It's free for any Sky Miles account. That's a administrative assistant question for me, bro. I don't fly a lot. Warrior 19 says, Jeremiah Cobb locked in. Let's go. And 2 signees for 2024. Yes, sir. Jeremiah Cobb from Montgomery Catholic. Officially signing today, but really he signed in December. I mean, for show he signed today, but he signed in December. And Auburn coaches knew that. There was no drama. But anyway, Marquise wants to know if Hugh Freeze is bringing in the different color uniforms. I don't know the answer to that. I bet you the next show, if you ask me again, I'll have a better answer for that. We're going to be meeting with coaches tomorrow, a whole bunch of coaches, including Hugh. And I will, now that you've planted that seed in my head, Marquise, I will ask that question. See if he's got any plans for changes to the uniform. Although I love the fact that Auburn keeps its uniforms very static, right? And I realize if you go to an orange jersey, which we've kind of joked about since the 90s, right? That's not changing Auburn. I mean, Auburn's worn those before. It just kind of got out of fashion, so to speak. And you could argue that they weren't in fashion when they were being used. Stauburn says, JGT, just wanted to say that I love you more than a friend. It means a lot, man. It means a lot. Thank you. Thank you, Stauburn. How about that? Man, I just get so mentally rattled when when the show goes down like it did earlier. By the way, this is the first time I'm going to give you an acknowledgement here of a screw-up on my part. I always do I work on the game wrap during the game, add some quotes from BP, and then I put it out, then I start the show. Well, tonight, I don't know, I got so excited about starting the show for whatever reason that I started it without having pushed out the game wrap. And I didn't have enough time to push it after the show had started. Because I got a 5-minute window between when I start the show and I'm actually on the air. So, tonight, for the first time ever, we are doing the show without a game wrap out. Although I have done it, and it's ready to go, and it's a big, long one. Yes, Call Me Biscuit says it's my own private brain drain. It was at one point, wasn't it? We've gotten back to about half the folks we had before. Yeah. Marquis says, thank you, big fan. Ward Amigo will attract recruits and stuff. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's the name of the game, man. That's what they are doing right now. BP, I'm sorry, Hugo, and this coaching staff. It's pretty amazing. Brian Matthews said something on the rundown the other day. Isn't it amazing what happens when you've got Zacchaeus Etheridge, Trevon, sorry, I was drinking. Pour my 1792. Sweet wheat, that's what I'm drinking tonight. Isn't it amazing when you've got some assistant coaches that are great at recruiting, and then you have a head coach who will supplement them and help them close, and in some cases just straight up close, instead of a head coach that says, I'm paying you to recruit, go recruit for me. How about that? Warrior 19 says we also got a basketball commit today, too, a point guard. Indeed, that is true. I can confirm. We talked about it earlier. I know you may have missed it, but Todd Pettiford from New Jersey, who is a 5'10", 5'11", point guard, but who can play off the ball. I likened him to Damon Stoudemire, Warrior 19. I don't know if you're old enough to remember him, but he was a point guard who played at Arizona in the 90s, and then he was in the NBA for, I think, 13 seasons, most notably with the Raptors. And he was just quick as a hiccup, and he found all kinds of weird ways to score with his left hand. He could shoot from the perimeter. He could do teardrop runners. He could do the little push shots like Jalen does. He'd go to the hole. And to me, that's exactly what Todd Pettiford is going to be. He's just straight up a scorer. But he can shoot. And I think as we sit here tonight and we wonder, Auburn goes 9 of 25 from 3 tonight. That's on par for them. Not a great three-point shooting team. When are they going to add some shooters? I think Aiden's going to help them next year. They're going to have to get in the portal and find a couple shooters, right? But Todd Pettiford is a guy. It's part of the solution for the shooting problem. He is part of the solution. Farm Dad is jumping in again. This guy, unbelievable. I sent him a direct message, and we talked a little bit a couple weeks ago. He's been incredibly generous, and I just wanted to let him know how I felt about him. Did not realize that he was part of the Pocket Watch. I didn't know he and Pocket Watch were homies, which says a lot, really. That legends do indeed stick together. He says, for casting equipment upgrades, haha. Unless you're going to fix my brain, I'll just take it as a user error on that one. But I honestly don't know. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you very much for that. You can CDF jumping in big here, man. Appreciate y'all. Let's see. Blake's giving Corey some trouble. About time you got over here, Corey. Corey was here. Yeah, I know. You mean for the second stream that I screwed up the first one. Corey says he was lost in YouTube hell. Blake, I am sorry, bro. That is 100% on me. I vow to have that never happen, but I can't control necessarily the internet stream that comes into my house. It's usually very stable and good. Pocket Watch did say earlier you couldn't read my West Virginia game rap because he was too sad. So sad. Auburn fan 123 says, how do you think Trey fits in with Aiden, Tahad, and LeBaron? Yeah, that's a good question. So, the way we used to think about college basketball 5 years ago in the olden times, you think about people staying years and years, right? Trey, to me, is the most improved player on the roster, I think, because we start off the season and he's just like, is he even going to play this year? And now he's at a point where I'm like, there's times when I would rather him be out there than Wen. He's not a great shooter, but he makes great decisions. And, man, if they get into a situation again like they did in the A&M game and the West Virginia game where they're getting trapped really high and Wen can't deal with it, they're going to have to go to Trey because he's tall enough and long enough to get out of that. I don't think he can split the defenders, but I think he can look around and pass the ball out. Wen gets a little shaken. He's kind of stuck under those guys. He's too small. So I think Trey's incredible. How does he fit in? We're just going to have to see how it goes, bro. Once Aiden gets in here, I think that'll give us a better idea of what's going to happen. My guess is that Wen stays and Trey stays and Aiden stays and somebody falls to the wayside. We'll just have to see. And then once you get LeBaron here, LeBaron's going to be a true freshman, and assuming he picks Auburn on Friday, LeBaron will be a true freshman in 2024-25 season. That's a ways off. So we'll just have to worry about that. Cross that bridge when we find it. Another day to make my stand. Duran, anybody? Pipe is in the house. Pipe player Nick. There he is. Pipe player Nick coming to us from the suburbs of Cincinnati, Ohio. And I think he worked some connections to get me a Cincy Blitzboard with the Auburn logo on it. If that bad boy shows up here pretty soon, I'm going to have to play. I have to show people how to play that game. It's a drinking game that, I'll just have to learn more about it when I get my hands on it. But he put together a little, I'm not sure he did. I think he used his influence to get it done, but an Auburn branded Blitzboard. Looking forward to this. Appreciate you, Pipe, for doing that. Hashtag Hugh Freeze guy says, JG, love you, man. Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for watching our show, our second show of the night. The first one was dropped because my internet screwed up or something. But we got back on the air, and I'm glad the Pirates wouldn't get us. I don't mean the Pittsburgh Pirates. You know what I mean. Call Me Biscuit says, for some reason, it looks exactly like I would imagine. No idea why. It just fits the name. Wait, what? What are we talking about? Corey W. says, Trey is also a very physical guard. We need that. That's absolutely true. He is physical. He is strong. He is physical. He's longer. Oh, shit, Pipe. I didn't realize that, dude. I always feel like you've been kind of coy about that. I thought it was like your buddy or something. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. I guess when I asked you about Daphne, and you were probably like, yeah. I'd be like asking if Courtney watches The Brain Drain. Yeah. Corey Deb says, first show was so good we needed a second. I thought it was going pretty well. I really did. I like where we were going. We had good numbers for a Wednesday night. And then then off we go. By the way, Pipe, you guys, of course, know, that those of you who are regulars, but some of you all are kind of new to the show. Pipe is my friend we met him partying down in the Caribbean a couple years ago, and he's a Purdue fan who lives up in Ohio. And we got to give it up to Purdue, man. First of all, they're going to have the player of the year in Zach Edey. Second of all, they're awesome. Third of all, I pull for Purdue when they're not playing Auburn. Because who gives a shit about the Big Ten? We just want Purdue to win it and be done with it. I'm good with that. Let's see. Farm D says, have to watch the replay at daughter's birthday dinner. Wow. And she's an AU grad. Where did I go wrong? That sounds like you went right, bro. Sounds like you did really good. Metal Fan is in the house as well, jumping in. Says, good evening. We're on our second show tonight, Daniel P. Yeah, the first one dropped, but we got it going again, thank goodness. I still talked to myself for like 3 minutes after it went dead, not realizing what had happened. It's probably really good content, you know. It's like when Fall Out Boy had those first gigs, you know. They sounded really good, playing Dead on Arrival, but there was nobody there. Farm D says Purdue equals astronaut U. I did not know that. I did know that there was only one time, like 2 or 3 years ago, the only NASCAR driver with a college degree was, I forgot his name now. I'm not great with names. Ryan Newman. He was the only one with a college degree, and he had a degree from Purdue. Very proud Purdue Boilermaker, by the way. All right, so something else we got to discuss is the Auburn Tigers schedule situation. So the first half of the schedule was not too bad. If you're taking a look over there in the left-hand corner, there are not a lot of really difficult games there. That Arkansas game I thought would be difficult, and Auburn handled that challenge without a problem. That loss to Georgia at Georgia was very weird, and I don't think. I mean, Auburn showed tonight it's at least as good as Georgia. I'm trying to be nice here, but you know the bottom line is the series was split 1-1, and I can't say too much negative about Georgia in that case. But anyway, Auburn played a great game against Arkansas. Played well at Ole Miss. Fought hard against Mississippi State. Won that game. Very physical game. Just destroyed LSU. Was way better than South Carolina, and then lost the Texas A&M game, which was a very strange loss as well. Similar to the Georgia game where they let Radford just go off. This guy can only drive to his left, and they let him drive to his left over and over again. I don't know. Can't do that. Ravine says, wow, JG pulling out the old school FOB. Yeah, man. Hell yeah. I've got a drum kit over here, and I try to play Dead on Arrival, but I'm just not good enough yet. It's kind of harder than it sounds. I mean, it sounds somewhat easy to me, but it ain't. Not to play that. Awatuga says he's looking for Auburn. He'd be thrilled at 12-6 to finish in the league. Yeah, so that first half of that schedule was not too bad. Second half is brutal. You've got a home and home against Tennessee, who's really good this year. You got a home and home against BAMS, who are really good this year. You got to go to Rupp, a game that I am probably going to go to myself with Henry. Henry wants to go, and I kind of feel like I should shepherd him there. You got a home game against Missouri. Missouri's somewhat tough, depending on the night. The game at Texas A&M, I think, is absolutely critical because you want to try to make up some ground on the road. You've got to get that one. I feel like they lost one to A&M. That was a big home minus on the schedule. You can make up for that with a win at Texas A&M, and that's a game I think they can win. I think they can learn from the mistakes they made defending Radford in that game and come out ahead. But, brother, at Tennessee is a tough ask. At Alabama is a tough ask, and I think at Kentucky is going to be a tough ask. So, I don't know. I think I'm with Awatuga, 12-6. I think that's probably a reasonable finish there. 11-7, 12-6 is probably what we're looking at there. So just brace. You know, at that point, they're still in the 21-22 win range. They're going to get in the tournament. They're going to be an 8. I think that's where they're going to end up anyway. And that's the way it's going to be. Snowburn says, I used to do 100% full combo on No Doubt Spiderwebs on Expert Drums on Rock Band. I'm impressed. There's probably not a lot of people that would be impressed by somebody saying that, but I'm one of them. I have never played drums on Rock Band. I play guitar, and I sing. That's it. But I play on Expert on guitar, so until we get to Almost Easy. And I do play it on Expert. I only get 90, 91%, but it's tough. Ravine says, I didn't know JG had a drum kit. That's awesome, man. I mean, I'm not very good at it. but I play. I try. We got some real drummers actually in this chat right now we have a real drummer, maybe more. And on the board we have some actual real drummers too. And I'm just a dude trying to figure out how to play a little bit. So, I wish that I could play. If there was one song I could play really well, it'd be seriously Dead on Arrival. I love that song on drums. It's a kick-ass song anyway. And I mean, I think it would be tough for them. That's one of the first songs they ever came up with. I mean, you're starting there, you know? And they've had a great career. Solo Tigre, one of the drummers that I was referencing earlier, a real drummer, says, I used to play Spiderwebs in an actual cover band with a smoking hot chick singer. Could she have been as hot as Gwen Stefani? I don't think so. But she may have been. I don't know. I wasn't there to see it. If you want to send pictures, we'll take a look. Henry P. in the house. The aforementioned Henry P., who I feel like I should shepherd her up arena. My circle of birth, so to speak. He says, if Auburn can pull off a win against either the BAMs or 10-10, then it'll be in excellent shape, like top 6 seed or so. Interesting. So he's saying split with Alabama, split with Tennessee, and you're Gucci. I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's kind of what you have to do. I think they can still get in the tournament if they only win 1 of 4 in those games, but I don't think they can go 0 for there. They still might sneak in as an 0 for, but you know how it comes. Ravine says, my drum kit hasn't been touched since the COVID. It's screaming at me. That seems like a non sequitur there. Those things aren't related, right? Hey. Let's see. Corey W. says, now I want to hear JG drum out to Bon Jovi's Shot Through the Heart. You mean You Give Love a Bad Name? Man. Corey, you know I respect your 80s knowledge and your taste in 80s music, but I don't like Bon Jovi very much. I do like Runaway, but I feel like they got really soft after that. Really soft. Like really, really soft. And I know you're thinking to yourself, JG, how can you possibly say a band is soft when you love Depeche Mode the way you do? And I'm just going to let you figure that out on your own, okay? I don't have a great answer for that. You figure that one out. Let's see. Solo Tigre comparing his former lead singer to Gwen Stefani. Face, probably not, but body, absolutely. Much respect, brother. By the way, I'm hoping to see you when we do our next Huntsville throwdown up there, hopefully at the Nook, so we can hang out with Faith again. We love Faith. I love Faith. Turtle loves Faith. Administrative assistant loves Faith. Dob the Bomb loves Faith. I know that. Oh, I see. Ravine says we moved during the COVID. Just haven't had a chance to make space for it. I get you. It's kind of tight over here in the corner. I think I risk screwing up the video if I change it. But anyway, I'm not going to do that right now. I've already screwed up the show once tonight. I'm not going to do it again. But yeah, I got a little set over here. Just trying to learn how to play it, man. I mean, I was seriously, when I got it, my wife got it for my birthday last year. I was literally the guy going, you got to start somewhere, man. I mean, Neil Peart didn't start playing Subdivisions, okay? That was not his first gig, okay? But you know what also wasn't his first gig? Working Man. Because he wasn't in Rush when they made Working Man. I know that. Let's see. Henry says, Gwen Stefani and I have the same birthday. She has just a slight 32 years on me. Right here, Henry. I bet you just looked that up, too. You were like, who in the hell is Gwen Stefani? And then you Googled her to find out that she had your birthday. There he is, Turtle. I didn't know you were here, but there he is. Turtle says, what's up, Pappy Van Winkle, a.k.a. JGT? Turtle, I know you're a big fan of Faith. D. Lucky is also a fan of Faith. I forgot about that. I mean, D. Lucky's. I found out about me and D. Lucky and Easterwood have a text chat going, and there was some activity in that text chat today. And I just want to say, I didn't get a straight answer about Deuce. I just don't want to give away too many details there. I don't want to out anybody, but there was some shenanigans going on, and I hope there wasn't anything shady there. Because Easterwood, I don't know. I feel like Easterwood was a ringer for D. Lucky today, or could have been for D. Lucky's wife. Could have been aiding and abetting in a way. I don't know. I don't want to go into too much detail on that. I don't want to out anybody. Hot Dog Water says JG, an absolute legend. I don't know about that. I'm certainly a streamer of semi-regional repute, semi-neighborhood repute. Turtle says mid-third quarter, Walker Kessler with a double-double. I watched him play the other night. I think it was Saturday night. They were playing at home, and the first play, they ran like a high screen for Walker, fucking 7-foot center. And he did a spin move going to the bucket and finished with his left hand. I was like, what? This guy's insane. His ceiling is off the charts. Let's see, D-Lucky said, I don't know if D-Lucky said something about this earlier. Oh, he just said wrong grade, elementary versus 7th. Yeah, it had to do with school. It was a school thing, yeah. Anywho. Yeah, it was funny. I was laughing really loud at that one. I don't know if you got a kick out of that one, D-Lucky, but I enjoy my chats with D-Lucky and Easterwood. Guys I really enjoy. Let's see. Henry says Gwen Stefani, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, ASAP Rocky, and CJ Stroud are all on my birthday. He claims to have known her. Yeah, we shall see. The only way I can ever truly test you on something like that, Henry, is to make you tell me face to face. Because right now you could just look it up. Let's be like, well, name another song by Gwen Stefani, and you could be like, oh yeah, I'm just a girl. Hella good. Whatever. Bump dump dump bump. Let's see. Matt N says Walker playing in the Rising Stars game. Yeah, he should be. That's exactly what he is. More like Rising Stud game. D-Lucky said, yeah, it was good. As soon as that rocketry class hits, we Gucci. Yeah, I'm sure everybody's getting that reference. Blake R says Gwen Stefani's overrated. I don't know. Is she? I think she's properly rated. Or are you saying hotness-wise? I think as an artist. I think she's regarded as fairly good, and she's fairly good. That's how I see her. She's not incredible. And I don't think she's the hottest girl ever, but she's cool. I heard her on Stern maybe 2 or 3 years ago. She seemed pretty cool. Maybe like a Madonna Light. I don't know. I'm talking out loud. I hope that doesn't upset anybody's feelings. Solo Tigre says she's a very nasally singer, Blake. Not a huge fan, but she's eye candy. Oh, she is definitely that, I think. She can't be as nasally as, say, Randy Travis, right? I'm gonna love you forever. You probably don't know that one, Solo. Probably a little different than your usual. Turtle also updates us to say Walker Kessler has 6 blocks in this game against the Raptors. How about that? I feel like Utah, so they gave away, Henry might be able to wage in on this because he loves the NBA, but they lose, or they give away, whatever you want to say. They let Rudy Gobert go, who's a tremendous defensive player, and then they get Walker Kessler back, which doesn't necessarily look like a great trade or shift of talent, and then all of a sudden now Walker is looking pretty damn good, man. Ravine says forever and ever amen, one of the classics. I recently was challenged at a party on New Year's Eve to name 10 country songs, and I couldn't get there. But I forgot to mention that one. I only got to 6. Any artist, any era, and I still couldn't come up with that one. I couldn't come up with 10. It's unbelievable. It's pathetic. Blake D says, what up, Auburn family? Nice bounce back win tonight. Capital W. I agree with that. Y'all be good, and I'm going to bed. Peace. I love that. My granddad Wexler would love you for that. He said to stand up, speak up, shut up, and sit down. That's how he said you should do things. Of course, I don't do that. I don't follow that advice here on the Brain Drain, but nonetheless, I'm sure he'll be proud of me. Solo Tigre says, oh no, I've been singing that song since I was 4. I was raised on country. I think Gwen probably handles her drugs better than Randy, but she probably doesn't do nearly as many. Boy, Randy had a tough go of it during COVID, didn't he? He didn't die, though, did he? I know he's in bad shape. Whew, he's not dead. Thank God. Hell, he just got married not too long ago to somebody named Mary. Wonder if she's hot. Oh, she is. Oh, she's tall. Oh, she's not. She is tall. She's not hot. Or maybe she is hot for him. I don't know. I tell you, I'm just going to let him handle that. That's, whatever. It's all good. It's all good. Let's see. Henry says Gobert trade is going to go down as an all-time steal for Utah. All I know about that, I don't remember the trade specifically, but I remember that Gobert's just having an average season, if that, in Minnesota, and Walker's looking like an absolute stud. We did get a like on Facebook. I wish I'd been able to monitor who had done that, but thank you for whoever liked our show on Facebook. We are live on Facebook today for the first time on our auburnsports.com page. That's part of the new version of this application that I use to stream the show called Ecamm, and they made it so I can send it to more than one place. It used to just be one place, and so I chose YouTube for obvious reasons, but now we can go to Facebook. I could do it to like LinkedIn if anybody ever cared about that. I can also put it on Twitter if anybody cared about that, but anyway, Ravine says I could probably do 10. My wife loves country music. Got me on it when we started dating. My taste is more rock, punk, progressive. Word, man, we could definitely jam together if I had any musical ability. But I do know songs. I do know songs pretty well. Let's see. Call Me Biscuit says JGT is the only person living in Montgomery, Alabama who can't name 10 country songs. I mean, it's true, dude. I had dyed hair in the 80s. We called it bleached at the time. Bleached has a different meaning now. I was in San Diego. I mean, this is just not, I'm not country, you know what I mean? But seriously, I'll name the country songs I know. On the Road Again. We know that one. Garth Brooks, like Friends in Low Places, The Thunder Rolls, Forever and Ever Amen, Delta Dawn. Oh, come on, there's a Dolly Parton song. 9 to 5 doesn't count. Well, there's one song that Here You Come Again by Dolly Parton, that would count. God, there's some Hank Williams Jr. songs I know too. Family Tradition. Dinosaur. I think we're about at the end here, guys. I don't think. Oh, The Fireman by King George. Shit, I'm at like 8 now. And that's pretty much the end of the road, though. Don Properdick coming to us from Maastricht, Holland says, I like Depeche Mode. Me too, man. If I had one album I could listen to on a deserted island, it would definitely be Depeche Mode 101. I've listened to it so many times. I know every song. And that's just the way it is. Call Me Biscuit says Johnny Cash. Yeah, I could do that. I could do Ring of Fire. I don't think I know any other songs, though. Let's see. Conway Twitty. I don't know a song by him. I could name a song by Conway Twitty. If you offered me $100,000 for it, I mean, I know that he's a singer, but I don't know. I just don't know. I didn't listen to it. Oh, hold on. Song of the South by Alabama. I could sing that one if I had to. That's like 9. It's not bad. I'm going to have one more sip of the 1792 Sweet Wheat. I really like it. I dig it. I think AU Taxman, I think we lost him in the purge. But that's what I'm drinking tonight. Sweet Wheat 1792. This is a Barton product from Bardstown. Don Properdickens says, catching up with Depeche Mode is my album, Jay. I've definitely listened to that one a few times. I would say that my favorite studio album would be Music for the Masses. That would be mine. Or Violator. Here we go. Patrick S. says that was 10, 9 to 5 counts. I don't think it should count, but I appreciate that, Patrick S. I'm shocked I got the 10. I could have won that bet then on New Year's Eve. I must have forgotten a couple. I definitely didn't tell them Alabama. I forgot about Alabama. I asked my friend J-Dub, who listens to a lot of country music, and he knows it real good. I asked him about Sawyer Brown, because I remember when I listened to American Top 40 in the 80s, listening to my music, they would always say, number 1 on the country chart is Sawyer Brown with whatever song they was. And it seemed like from like the 84 to 86 corridor, they had a number 1 song like every freaking week. It was like some different song, you know. Sawyer Brown must have been incredible for like that one little year and a half or whatever. They were on Star Search. I remember. Y'all remember Star Search, Ed McMahon and all that. Yeah. Ravine says, if you want to venture into country, I suggest starting in the 80s or 90s. So it's interesting you'd say that, Ravine, because I listen to Prime Country. Is what I have it as a station in my car, and that's like 80s and 90s country. And I definitely that's all I'm listening to. I do have Willie's Roadhouse on my thing, but I don't usually listen to it. It's on there, but I go through there, and every now and then there'll be something I might listen to, but not really. Pipe says J-Dub's from Greenbow, sort of. He's from down that way. If Greenbow were a real place, he'd probably be from near there. He sounds like this. Hi, Ma. Hi, Pop. Appreciate you, bro. That's what he would say. Keith Whitley. I can name a song by Keith Whitley, bro. Absolutely, I can. Tell Lori I love her. With Lori spelled Lorrie as an homage to Lori Morgan. Might be the saddest song that you've ever heard. I don't know. But yes, I can name that song. And poor Keith Whitley, man. What a great talent. That's the only song I can name you by Keith Whitley, but I do know that one. This is all because of J-Dub. Is the only reason I know any of those songs. Let's see. Solo Tigre says Sawyer Brown, Chris Ledoux, and Mark Chestnut was the first concert I ever attended. How about that? That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, you saw some legends there. I mean, surely Sawyer Brown's in the Country Music Hall of Fame. I mean, come on, dude. They had like 8 number ones in a row. I love it when we get off tack like this. These people are probably checking in going, let's talk. He's going to talk about Auburn basketball. Oh, wait. They're talking about Depeche Mode and Mark Chestnut. And I don't know. We used to have these shows for those of you who have not been on the air with us too much. I don't know if Don, I think of Don as being kind of new, but I don't know if he really is or not. D Lucky says DOC made country music. Oh, that's funny. Look at this. Russell S. says, my uncle played the keyboard / piano for Lori Morgan. Damn, we got legends up in here I didn't even know about. That's incredible, Russell. Wow. You guys are more worldly than I even thought you were. And I knew you guys were worldly. You're more so than I am. There's no doubt about that. That's a low threshold, though, to be fair. You always learn so much stuff when we come on here. But anyway, for those of you who have been on the show, who are new to the show, whatever, we had these shows during COVID when there were no sports, right? And we would just go on for hours just babbling about nothing. Because there were no sports, you know. We'd take calls, get really drunk and act stupid and talk about chicks and stuff. It was really fun. I don't feel like we can do that anymore. Knuman says the COVID shows were the best. I had fun doing them. I don't think we can ever recapture it, you know. Pipe says, I guess we'll have to ditch the yacht rock and play some country in the pool. Here's the thing, dude. So I'm game, of course. When Johnny comes over, I'll try to listen to country so he can kind of instruct me on the great songs from the 80s and 90s. And he does a good job. But in the pool, man, I got to be careful because like you get people upset, right? I feel like yacht rock played quietly. Remember, we were out there in the middle of the pool, so like that music, the only people you could hear that could hear it were us. The people on the side couldn't hear it. So I don't know. Have to be careful. Let's see. Feel Like a Stranger says we had to move to a part 2 ? I was away for a bit. Had to get some piping laid. Pipe. This guy's cutting into your action right here. Yeah, the show just quit on me for some reason. I think my internet just had like a 10-second pause or something, and that was enough to knock me off. So I had to restart it. Let's see. Patrick S. said, did you see some guy named Balogun had a hat trick for France today? I believe he is an Arsenal kid who's been loaned to. Does he play for Marseille? He's leading that league in scoring, and he's like 1 goal ahead or 2 goals now ahead of Mbappe, and is USMNT eligible. Are we going to actually get that kid? We could really use a serious striker, couldn't we? I think he's attached to Arsenal. It's Arsenal or Chelsea. I don't know which. Awatuga says, can we get you and Gabe back for G-Pits? Interesting. I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like first of all, I love Gabe. You guys know how I feel about Gabe. I don't know if me and Gabe could do a great show together. I don't know. We do we're good friends, and I love chatting with him, but I don't know if we do a great show together. And I feel like any shows without Neil would be bad, or that particular show. And I honestly, man, I mean, at this point, I'm kind of thinking that, because I told you guys before, I thought GPIT's just on hiatus. I think things are going to be fine, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not really sure what's going on. I feel like there's a part of the story that I don't know, which is weird because I'm involved. But I mean, Neil doesn't communicate with me anymore. And we used to have like a group text with me and him and Gabe, and like he doesn't even. I got cut out of that too. So like, I text with Gabe one-on-one, and he texts with Neil one-on-one, and like I'm not like it's like I'm not allowed to talk to Neil or something. I don't know. I swear to God, guys, I don't know what I did. I've got no idea. But I know the people over there hate me. The Rebel Grove people, by and large, hate me, and I don't know. I think if we did a show, those people would all not listen because they hate me. And then all of our people wouldn't listen because they hate him. So it's just like I don't know how to fix that. The solution would have been for Neil to not go off on all of our folks, right? I mean, Knuman's with me on this. I mean, I would never go over to Rebel Grove and say Ole Miss people should fuck all the way off. Like, I would never do that. I don't do that because I like Ole Miss people. The Ole Miss people I've met have been great and have been very cool to me and just cool people. And I feel like Auburn people are at least that cool, if not cooler. So that would have been the solution, would be to not insult everybody, which I didn't do, but, whatever. Knuman says you did nothing. It's just who Neil is as a person. There's some truth to that. We've talked so many times on the show on GPITs about how Neil doesn't give a shit about people. He said this 1,000,000 times. It just makes sense that I would get collected in that car wreck eventually. And, I mean, I feel like I lost a friend over it too, but I don't know what to do. I feel like I knew we were getting into like kind of a minefield, when you had when you had Lane Kiffin, the Ole Miss coach, and Auburn flirting with him, and you got to be careful. It's kind of a minefield, and I don't know. I didn't think it was a situation where we need to lose a friendship over it, but sometimes weird things happen. I don't know. Knuman says what happened. The solution would have been for him to apologize, yet he doubled down instead. I mean, remember too that he had a lot of detractors anyway for all the shitting on prayer circles he did, which is another one I don't understand, and said on the show I didn't understand it. And again, the people at Rebel Grove, I think by and large, are mad at me because I said Auburn was a better job than Ole Miss, which is a statement I would stand behind every day. But it's also one that Neil stood behind. When we talked about it on the show, he agreed. He was like, oh yeah, Auburn's definitely a better job than Ole Miss. I was like, word? And then all his people are mad at me for saying that, but they're not mad at him for saying that. I found that odd. Look, guys, time heals all wounds. Maybe 5 years from now, it'll be fine. I don't know. I know you guys are going to make some snide comments in the chat. I can feel it coming, man. I can feel it coming. But we'll figure it out when that comes along. Justin says he's going to pull for Leeds United, which I can never do. With all the American players, Brendan Aronson playing there, of course. I don't know who the other ones are, but I like him a lot. Oh, Tyler Adams is there. As a Manchester United fan, I hate Leeds, and I'm supposed to hate Liverpool, but really, like Brian Matthews being a Liverpool fan and being a very reasonable one, a good-natured Liverpool fan, really makes me not hate them. So it's just pretty much City and Leeds for me. I hate them both. I hope they lose every game. Let's see. Cleveland Brown says the patch will happen when Lane Kiffin dips from Oxford. Yeah, that would probably solve it. Or if it just goes bad, right? Let's say next year Ole Miss sucks, and he does a shitty job recruiting, and things go down. Maybe they get mad at him, and they're like, "Oh, maybe JG was right." I don't know. But remember, I wasn't ragging on Lane. I wasn't ragging on Ole Miss either. I just said I thought Auburn was a better job than Ole Miss. I mean, I feel like that's true. That's not a big stretch. Come on now. Ole Miss is a fine. First of all, it's a great campus. It's a great place to go to school. But I don't know. I like it over there. I don't know. There's not really much more to it than that. And the folks that I've met, the folks that I know over there, good folks. I really like them. War Eagle 19 says just can't get into soccer, man. Oh yeah, we're not going to talk about soccer here very much. I like soccer, but I can't sit and watch 90-minute games all the time. I can watch a Manchester United 90-minute game, but that's it. You're never going to catch me watching some freaking Tottenham, fucking Brighton game or something. I'm never. Ravine says it's a damn shame, JG. Maybe we need to have a show with Gabe as a mediator. Well, Gabe's kind of already tried to do that a little bit with me, and kind of encourage me to do this or say this. But, I mean, I'm not going to say things I don't mean. I'm not going to go apologize for things that I didn't do and I carefully avoid it. I intentionally avoid it. Ravine says, I hate that you feel like you lost a friend. I appreciate you saying that, brother. It does kind of stink, but, because when you get to be my age, I don't feel like I have a bunch, but, there's always room for more. Ravine goes on to say, Neil might be a flat earth believer. There's just no dealing with those people. Is that Chizzy said that? Has he said that? He probably could have. He could have said that. Auburn says, Jay, you should stream yourself playing Elden Ring. I've heard of it. I don't know what that is, bro. Yeah, I don't know that one exactly. I do play FIFA. When I have extra time, I play FIFA, and I also play Warzone. Typically play Warzone with bunker people. With Double D's and Locked On and, let's see, is it Weagle Night? One of the Weagles. And Jackson 3. What an absolute studs those guys are. We have a good time playing. Ravine says, you got us, JG. A group hug, guys. Remember in the old AOL chats, we used to do the group hug? It would be like the bracket. And then you say JG, and then bracket. I don't know if you're old enough to know that, Ravine, but we used to do that in the 90s. Back when AOL was like the thing. Awatuga says, it's not like you were trying to hire Lane. No, I don't care, man. I just cover who's here. It just so happens that he's a cool guy, and he's got a bunch of cool guys working for him, and they're going to do a great job, but I don't care. I've covered good guys, and I've covered dicks, and I don't care either way. It's more fun to cover good guys, but I don't care. Wario 19 says it's a sick RPG game. I mean, I know that, but I don't know. I don't know more than that. Brock P says Stephen Pearl was intense on the bench tonight. So Stephen P had, in my opinion, the toughest scouts ever. I mean, this year. He had the scout for this Georgia game, which is a revenge game, right? A lot of pressure on that at home. And he's also got the scout for this game at Tennessee. That's a really tough ask to go back-to-back like that. And so he was like the scout guy on the bench, and that's why you probably saw a little more intensity from him. He seemed really involved. He really wanted this one, and he really wants this next one. There's no, he played at Tennessee, but he wants to see Auburn win this game. There's no doubt. There's no residual love for Tennessee in the Stephen Pearl world. He is 1,000% Auburn to the core. Pipe says I used to meet chicks on AOL. That's where it all started. Good for you, bro. I hope your name was like Pipe Layer 69 FFF or something like that. Ravine says Steven can do it. I believe in him. Yeah, I think he's come a long way. When they hired him, or when BP hired him as an assistant, I was like, I don't know, because he hadn't really done a lot. But, I mean, I feel like his scouting has gotten really good. And when you watch him kind of coordinate with the scouts when it's his turn, man, he gets, he's into it, man. One thing I do find odd about Steven, though, when he's doing the scouts and he's setting them up, he takes his computer out there, like literally like his laptop. You'd think he'd be on his phone or maybe an iPad or a Microsoft Surface or something. No, he's got his laptop out there. And so he's like at mid-court. He's holding like that laptop in one hand, and it's like, keyboard screen. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. It just seems, it seems like a grandpa kind of move. I haven't actually told him that yet, but I will. Ravine says Stephen Pearl plays for Team Pearl first. You're right about that. D Lucky says I've got mail. Have you talking about on the text or on the actual email? Let me take a look here. You might even be talking to me. Here I am thinking you're talking to me. I don't know why. I still can't believe I didn't put the game wrap out. What a dumbass. Small Time Republic says, I hope Steven gets a head coaching opportunity somewhere. You're damn right about that. I don't think he's ready to take over this job yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? If BP ain't leaving tomorrow, but let's say 3 years from now, if BP decides to wrap it up, or 5 years from now, whatever, if Steven would take over there, there's been people on the bunker that have said, oh, he'll be the head coach in waiting. At this point, no, but he's improving a lot. He's been impressive. Corey Deb says Steven has great hair. Can't help but pull for him to be successful. Those of us, Corey included, who are slightly older men who have full heads of hair, I guess we do kind of stick together, don't we? Steven is not an older man, but I would agree with you 100% that he has great hair. He does a good job with that. No, D Lucky was making a reference to AOL being like, you've got mail. That's funny. Here I was checking my mail, dude. I was like, I don't know, D Lucky knew my email address, and then, oh, dude, what do you want? From Field of Dreams. So you feel like a stranger says he got banned from AOL when I was a kid. Dude, Steve Case came over there and kicked you out personally, huh? How about that? AOL reminds me of the old days, dude. I feel like I was such a gremlin. I had figured out AOL was expensive back in the day, man, because you had to pay per the minute, right? And it was like if you got like you would pay for like a certain amount of minutes per month, and then when you went over it, you had to pay an overage per minute, right? And I was broke as shit, man. I didn't have any money, and so I couldn't pay that. So I wanted to be on AOL more and not pay for it. So I got a hold of this like pirate application that allowed you to be on AOL, but it wouldn't charge, and it fucking worked too. And man, that was a game changer in like '95. It was a game changer. Like, Steve Case didn't need more of my money. You know what I mean? I had to spend money on, like, NHL 95, Bulls, Lakers, or whatever was going on at that point. Turtle says, I only use MySpace because I can rank my friends. I thought you were on Friendster, bro. God, I haven't been on MySpace in a minute. I love the idea of ranking my friends, though. I think some people would be surprised if I did that. Some people will be higher than they would expect, and some people will be a lot lower than they would expect. It'd be fun. Be fun. By the way, you guys can't see it, and I don't want to mess with my other camera here because I'm afraid I'll screw up the show. But for the first time since you guys have ever known me doing this stream, I have a new chair. Yeah, for real. I'm very particular about the chair that I sit in. It's got to have certain dimensions and requirements. And I finally came across one that actually fit the bill. And so we got it. And so I'm in a new chair. Thanks to the incredible super chatters here at the Brain Drain for helping fund that. It's an official gaming chair. I don't know what kind it is. But it is super comfortable and it fits great. So just want to tell you guys that. Just a little update here. So we got the blue going tonight. I know some of you guys, Newman, talked about that earlier. I can change the colors, and I don't know if some of these colors would make you happier. Like the Auburn red or Auburn, orange, whatever, hot orange. It's kind of cool. We can just go with orange for a minute. This kind of reminds me of Beetlejuice a little bit. Toomer's Corner is in the house. Says, what's up, brother? I know that's not the handle you use during football season. You're my parlay guy. I forgot what handle you used back then, but you made us a bunch of money if we would just followed your suggestions. Appreciate you, bro. It's glad to see you again. I feel like a stranger reminding us of LinkedIn when Tom was automatically your friend. That's true. Snowburn wonders if it's the official PewDiePie gaming chair. No, it's not. I don't know. I don't know what kind it is. It's the good kind. It's the kind that feels comfortable. It's got like an actual back thing for you. Like, it's nice. I'd always been using like this cheap one that we got at Office Depot for like $50, but honestly, like, it was somewhat comfortable, but this one's a lot better. Don Properdickin, who used AOL back when he was living in America, now he's in Maastricht, says AOL equals insert free CD-ROM from Campo, then your PC never works properly again. Yeah, lots of bloatware on that, right? And they were always sending those CDs around. You could actually make those. We use those as coasters at Transy for our drinks and stuff. Pocket Watch reminding us, getting us an update, I should say, on Walker tonight. 7 blocks, 3 more for a triple-double. I believe he had a double-double in the first half. What a stud that guy is. As Henry mentioned earlier, possibly one of the greatest heists in NBA history for the Jazz to let Rudy Gobert go and pick up Walker, and they're actually better off now. I think everybody in this chat knows that it's not surprised at all that Walker Kessler's a pimp in the NBA. Let's see. Turtle says, JGT, they have everything you could want going up around Toyota Field in Madison. Listen, I do not live in Madison, but I am aligned with the Madison Mafia. Those are my people. I love Madison. I go there as often as I can. So, listen, man, there's nothing more than I would love to do than hang out at Toyota Field, watch the Auburn Tigers play, watch the Trash Pandas play, drink bourbon, drink beer, whatever. Patrick B says, who is your squad at NBA Jam, JG? It is absolutely 100% the Golden State Warriors. I get Timmy Hardaway, and I also get, senior, and I also get Chris Mullin. Both of them can shoot threes. And that's what I really like to do. I like to heat them up and then have Chris Mullin just bomb them. That's what I like to do. I was, in those days, I was actually a Golden State fan just because I like TMC, which we discussed on our last show, and I forgot who TMC is. It's Timmy Hardaway, Chris Mullin, and who's the M? Mitch Richmond. It was Mitch Richmond. Yes. We were talking about that with Becky and Cuz the other night. Yeah, Mitch Richmond. 7-time NBA All-Star Mitch Richmond, by the way. And I bet you guys have never heard of him. I mean, some of y'all have, but y'all younger folk are like, who the hell is that? Patrick S. is a Mavericks fan. Henry, if you're still here, attention. Henry, of course, is a Mavericks fan. He's a huge Luka Doncic stan. Patrick S. says he's heartbroken the Mavericks didn't trade up a few spots to get Kessler instead of trading for Christian Wood. Oh, that's tough, man. Blake R. says, I've been dozing off, gents and JGT. Time to say goodnight and see everybody later. Blake R., appreciate you, bro. You put in an incredible shift tonight, as is customary, and we appreciate you. Auburn Tigers victorious. You saw them off for a W. And we'll see you again, hopefully on Saturday, for that game against the hated Tennessee Vols. Solo Tigre says, Mitch Richmond, also a hell of a bassist. Could be true. Could be true. Wayman Tisdale was a musician himself. An NBA player of that era as well. Former Oklahoma Sooner, back when I lived out that way. Lived actually somewhat near me in Tulsa. Feel like a stranger says, damn, I hadn't thought about Mitch Richmond in years. Yeah, me too. I couldn't remember his name the other night. I had to look it up. He was kind of like Alex English Part 2. Well, that's not really fair because there were different kinds of players, but like Alex English was like a really good player that you don't even remember because he played on shitty teams all the time, and that's kind of the way that Mitch Richmond was. He was playing on like the Kings when the Kings were ass, and then he played on with the TMC group when they were kind of ass. Like they weren't bad. They'd get in the playoffs, but they were like a 6 or a 7 seed. Nobody cared. D. Lucky says Wayman Tisdale was the bass player. Indeed. I just knew he was a musician. He lived in the next neighborhood over from where we did in South Tulsa. And the 2 times we went trick-or-treating at his house, he was hilarious and cool and gave us like full-size Snickers. You know why? Because he's a fucking stud, that's why. That's what good people do. That's what real people do. That's what my man Cuz across the street, that's what Denton's dad does. He gives away real candy bars. That's how you know the guys are legit. And what does JG do? I don't know because I'm not there because Courtney does it. Because you know what I do on Halloween? I've got my little Eyes Wide Shut outfit and I just walk around the neighborhood and scare people. That's what I do. It's got a black sheath over me. I got the Eyes Wide Shut mask and everything's black I'm wearing. I got gloves on. I got black shoes. I got black leggings on. Like I go full on. These people get freaked out. I don't ever run at them. I just walk at them. I just walk at them and they freak out. Feel like a stranger said, did Mitch play for the Hornets a while too? I do not know the answer to that. We are going to get to the bottom of this. ASAFP. He did not play for the Hornets. He played for the Warriors, the Kings, the Wizards, and the Lakers at the very end. The 2001 Lakers, where he won a title, I believe. Played college ball at Kansas State and was the 5th pick overall of the 1988 NBA draft. There you go. Patrick B says Googling Mitch Richmond. Yeah, that's right. He's a pretty forgettable guy, but he was pretty damn good. He was always like the guy in the All-Star game. You were like, oh, yeah, that guy. Because like these days, we've all got NBA League Pass. We care about the NBA at all. I do for sure. But then that shit wasn't going on back then. Like for me, I'm living in Tulsa at the time. Like I get the Mavericks. That's all I see. I mean, if I want to watch like the Clips play, God forbid you would want to watch them back then, but if you don't want to watch them play or the Kings play or the Sonics play or whatever, I mean, not watching them. There's no way to watch them. So you'd never see Mitch Richmond actually play. So he was like an all-star 7 times. He'd be like, I've literally never seen this guy play. He's pretty damn good. He plays for the Kings, averaging 26 a night, but they lose by 26 every night, so fuck it. Doesn't matter. I feel like a stranger said instead of the Hornets, it was the Wiz he was thinking of. Yeah, I could see those getting conflated. Let's see, Patrick B says 7-time league all-star is wild for a guy I've never heard of. Dude, that's what I told you, man. Like, it's just weird. Like, no one says that name now. No one remembers him, but he was really good. Ravine says, great show tonight, JG. I got to hit the bed working early in the morning. See everyone on Saturday. Ward Amigo. Appreciate you, Ravine. Thank you for being here, bro, and also thank you for the super chat and for always being here, man. Have a good day at work tomorrow. By the way, just for everybody who's still here, we've got interviews with coaches lined up tomorrow, top to bottom. We're going to talk to everybody. Hugh Freeze on down. On field assistants, I should say. So I'll be looking for that content at auburnsports.com. Videos, maybe. I'm having a hard time finding my equipment for my videos, honestly, so they may be of questionable value, but we're going to talk to everybody and get some stories done so you guys get a better feeling for what these guys are thinking and doing and who they are. You know, hopefully I'll be able to get Philip Montgomery tomorrow. That's one I'd like to get him and Ron. That's who I really want to talk to. Let's see. Patrick S says, if you're talking early to mid-90s, you're not wanting to watch the Mavericks either. Yeah, that'd be like Ronaldo Blackman, Mike Isolino. Golly. That might have been about it. I think those were the 2 guys on this game. You're just like, I mean, Ro Blackman is pretty good, though. God, they had another guy that was like a de facto star, but like wasn't really. Kind of like Mitch Richmond. I don't know. Forgot who it was. Was it Mark Aguirre? Oh, Popeye Jones played there too. That's another one. Yes, Mark Aguirre played for the Mavs from 81 until 89. So he would not be on this game, but he was nonetheless like a de facto star for them. Dude, he averaged, listen to this, man, 83, he averages 24, then the next few years, 29, 25, 22, 25, 25. And nobody knows Mark Aguirre. Like, nobody. Maybe if it's from when the Pistons had the Bad Boys years, he was there, but. Purple Haze says, what's up, player? What's up, player? How you doing, bro? Glad to see you, man. Love you on the bunker. Patrick S says, Isolino, maybe. Blackman was gone. Okay, so Ro Blackman, you're telling me, was gone. Okay. Let's see when Ro Blackman was there. Shit, man. He was with the Mavericks from 81 until 91. And I think this was based on 91, brother. I think it is. So he would still be with the Mavericks. I don't remember who the actual players are on this one. Because I don't play with the Mavs. I just play with my Golden State teams. Corey W. says, I spent the 90s hating John Starks. Brother, I was right there with you. I have never liked the Knicks. I can't stand them. I've never liked the Knicks. It doesn't really matter now because they're sucky, but I just don't like them. I don't like them now. I didn't like them then. Kerry J in the house says, War Eagle, what's up, bro? Glad to have you here, part of the show tonight. Patrick S. says, I've got a Popeye Jones Chuck E. Cheese's autographed basketball. Bro, that is worth millions. I would pay you millions for that. Popeye Jones, like the first really awesome player out of Murray State, right? What a stud that guy was. That was one of those players that would like average like 25 points a game at Murray, and you never know anything about him, and then they go to the NCAA tournament, and they would beat somebody, and he would score like 30, and he'd be like, shit. Like, damn. Mark Macon was like that at Temple. Derek Chivas at Missouri before they were in the SEC. He was that way. Fennis Dembo at Wyoming was like that. I feel like DePaul had a few players like that too. I used to watch a lot of DePaul because they were on WGN, you know. DePaul and Notre Dame. And I haven't seen a DePaul game in, I bet, 30 years. Collie Biscuit says, JGT loves Duke. I'm going to give you this sound for that one, bro. I hate Duke. D. Lucky says, Knicks fan here ready to fight now. Bro, I don't want to fight you. I'll be quiet then. I don't have a strong hate for him. I just don't like him. I didn't like John Starks. Thought he was a punk. And then Patrick Ewing is, I know he's one of the NBA 50 or whatever, but he's overrated. I think so. He has great teeth, though. He has great teeth. Who else is on those teams? Like Oakley, who's kind of a goob. Hogrant was on those teams. No, not Hogrant. It was Anthony. It was Antoine. His dad. Come on, dude. He played for BP 5 years ago. Antoine. He was a shooting guard, but his dad was a power forward. I met him at the arena. I was really fucking starstruck to see him. Antoine Mason. Yeah. Mason. I didn't hate that guy, though. He was pretty damn good. Turtle says, JGT, how about this 5-star point guard that BP picked up? Yeah. Ira Bowman was important in that deal, too. His name's Tahad Pettiford. He's from New Jersey. Left-handed. Very quick as a hiccup. It reminds me of Damon Stoudemire. There's another NBA name. A little bit later than the guys we've been talking about, but played at Arizona in the 90s. Played in the NBA from maybe 95-ish to 07, something like that. Mostly for the Raptors. But really quick. Not scared to shoot. Kind of a jump shooter. He can do teardrop runners, little push shots, traditional three-point shots. Can finish to the rim, but I don't necessarily think of him as somebody who's going to go up against a bunch of traffic and do that. Can play off the ball if needed, and I think that's what he and LeBaron are going to probably do, assuming that LeBaron picks Auburn. And I think in that scenario, I think Philon would be your on-ball point guard, and then Tahad would be more of an off guy, like a combo guard or a 2 or whatever. Feel like a stranger says, who's your comp for Philon? I don't like, I said this earlier, I'm not trying to say he's at this level yet, but he reminds me of John Morant because he's an on-ball point guard. He's very long. He looks like a spider. I think he's going to get taller, and he has just remarkable explosiveness, remarkable. And I honestly think if he was playing on one of the CP3 teams or AOT or some big-time AAU club, he would be ranked higher. But he plays at Baker High School, which is down in the south of Alabama, which there's really not a lot of love for Alabama hoops, high school hoops anyway, but down there's none. And he just kind of plays in anonymity, right? He's a Mitch Richmond. I think he's a lot better than that. And so to me, he reminds me of that. He's an on-ball point guard with really long arms and legs and remarkable explosiveness, and he's unflappable. They'll triple team him, and he'll just break it and then dunk on people. He's remarkable. So I think he's underrated. I think we've got him as a 4-star at Rivals. I think we've got him in the 50 to 60 national range. I think he's better than that. I think we've got Tahad as the 20th best player in the country, which I'm fine with. He can score in a lot of different ways, and he's a menace if you watch him play. He's just a guy that just fucks you up, man. He just kind of zips in between your defenders and then just pops one real fast. He's just a real problem, and he's really, really quick. Patrick S. says, what's up, bro? Thanks for the super chat here. Got any predictions for baseball? I don't cover baseball at all because Brian Matthews and Brian Stoltz have a real passion for that sport, and they talk to Butch all the time, and hell, they just talked to him the other day, and they're ready for the season. They think it's going to be a good ball club, though. They think Auburn's going to be really good, so we'll see. Elijah says, wait, did Philon commit? He did not. He's going to commit, or he's scheduled to commit Friday. But here's kind of the deal. So Auburn was recruiting, but Auburn really likes Philon, and they really like Tahad Pettiford. They've been recruiting them both. And there was a point last summer, Elijah, where it was okay, wait a minute, you want us both to play point guard? And then Auburn said, No. Let me show you what we're thinking. And they kind of made a presentation. Even though they weren't there on the same weekend, they showed them the same presentation, and they said, here's what we're thinking. As I mentioned to you earlier, like Phylon more on the ball, Pettiford more off the ball, but also a combo guard. Almost like Bryce was, but he's a different player than Bryce. Bryce, to me, is a sniper and a great on-ball defender. To me, Tahad is more of a Chris Denson, but a better shooter. Like, he's going to just go at your face and he's trying to steal your mind. He just, if you watch his video clips, you'll see what I'm saying. He's just a pain in the ass because he'll just dart in between people and just put up a shot real fast. He can shoot traditional three-pointers. He's just always up your ass on the scoring end. They feel like there's a way they can harmonize there, and Auburn, in an unusual move, kind of pushed them to talk. Like, hey, I want you guys to get to know each other because we really want you both. And they got along pretty good, and what I've been told is that they've come to this agreement where it's like, I like this plan that BP's pushing. We like where Auburn's going. I like you. You like me. Let's do it. Let's work together. So Tahad committed today. And again, in basketball, commitments usually hold. And then Phylon's going to commit Friday, and I believe Auburn's going to get it. And so Auburn's going to get 2 top 50 point guards. They're going to get 2 of the top 4 point guards in the country for the 2024 class. Purple Haze says Chris Denson was a bad MF. You're damn right. He's the Mitch Richmond of those late Barbie teams. Yeah, you're right. He was a hell of a player. Hell of a player. How much would you like to have him right now? He'd be a huge upgrade. Driver, shooter, big balls, goes for people's faces, tries to steal their soul. I love it. Justin C. says, where'd you get that eagle through the A light up sign? I got it at a site called Hex Head Art. It's a company out of Louisville, Kentucky, and they sell these things. It's kind of like, I say it's metal. It might be aluminum or tin or something. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's like a light metal, and then you can get the light behind it, like the backlight. You have to do it yourself. You have to kind of like put it on and shit, but they'll give you the box for it. They'll give you the lights and stuff, and they'll explain it to you how to do it. Like they'll give you an instructional thing. As I recall, this one costs like $200, something like that, and they have 4 different Auburn ones. They've got a bunch of teams, but for Auburn, I think they have 4 different ones. And I thought this old school eagle back Suge Jordan days was pretty damn badass, so that's why I went with it. It also worked good for my space on the wall there. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. They don't pay me or anything. I'm just telling you guys. I saw it and I loved it. And if you guys want that for your house, I would totally understand. It's totally kick-ass. I feel like a stranger says we've needed a guard upgrade like this for a minute. You're damn right about that. They knew they needed it. And I think if you look at it, they're going for height. Aiden is more like 6'0", 6'1". Still got a little growing to do probably. LeBaron is like 6'3", 6'4". Tahad's not ever going to be a big tall guy, but again, he's a unique. You kind of have to change in your mind the way you categorize him because he has a point guard body, but he has kind of a 2 game. I said he reminds me of Damon Stoudemire, and that's because of how quick he is and how he's left-handed, and he has this certain like attitude when he's playing. Procedurally, I don't know if you guys remember him, but Tony Delk played at Kentucky back for their championship teams in 96 and 97, I believe. It might have been just the 96 team. He might have been a senior that year. But anyway, Tony Delk, he's a guy. Played at Kentucky, played in the NBA for a while as well with the Suns and some other teams. Again, shorter guy, point guard body, but not really a point guard, more of a combo, more of a three-point shooter. Played with the Hornets for a while, too. That might end up being the way he goes, too. But anyway. Patrick B says, no joke, that thing looks like it costs way more than $200. I mean, yeah, I think that's what it was. Like $200, $250, somewhere in that range. It definitely wasn't more than that. And again, you can pay like an extra $20 to get the backlighting, and they'll still show you how to put it on. You have to kind of put the strips on yourself. But, I mean, dude, if I can do it, you can do it. They got the traditional AU, like on the helmets. They also have one that's like a scripted Auburn, like you would see like on a baseball jersey. And I think they have another one. It's like the old school Obby face, you know, where it's kind of like this, you know. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. I feel like they really had some great choices for Auburn stuff. So, I mean, they're out of Louisville. I don't know who they actually like, but they seem to really have a passion for Auburn stuff. They got a lot. They also sell like NBA and NFL shit if you're really into that. I thought about getting a Raiders one, but I don't have room for it. I feel like a stranger says Delt got it done for them. Absolutely. A young man out of Brownsville, Tennessee, who went to Kentucky. I think he was a freshman in 93, and he sucked. He was shooting threes all the time and didn't hit shit. But over time, he got better. I think that Tahad Pettiford's going to be better than that. One man's opinion. But again, he's kind of a you can't put him into a shoebox, you know, because he has a point guard body, but he's not, and he can be a point guard, but I think he's more disruptive attacking wise, just kind of as a freewheeling two who can shoot some threes, who can drive a little bit, who can hit some mid-rangers. He's just going to score for you, and he's going to be a pain in the ass for defenders. He's just going to be all up in your shit all the time. He's just going to be, you can't leave him alone because he'll just pull up and shoot. LeBaron at this point is more of a driver, which he's also a scorer, and I think of him as less of a shooter, and I think of Tahad as a better shooter. But LeBaron also gives you more defensive leeway. He's not a great defender right now, but I don't think he's necessarily been pushed to be a great defender. I think he will be a very good defender in time. And again, if he's 6'4" when he gets here, I mean, he's going to be able to defend 1, 2, 3, 4. I do think he's going to have a little bit of size. Patrick S. says, how'd you end up being a Raiders fan? I wanted to be an NFL fan like 2 years ago. I wasn't a fan of any team, and so me and my wife, and then our neighbors across the street, Denton's mom and dad, they were in the same spot, and so we voted. We just voted. We went through rounds of voting. We kind of all came up with a list of teams we could not ever be a fan of, and then we kind of put those together and eliminated all those teams, and then whoever was left, we started voting on them. And it came down to us. It came down for we had a Final Four, but there were only 3 that we were really voting on. It was Washington, the Commanders, the Dolphins, and the Raiders. We ended up going with the Raiders. I just didn't, guys. Honestly, I just couldn't do the Tua. I couldn't do the Tua thing. I just couldn't do it. I don't really hate the Dolphins or anything. I just couldn't do Tua. And Josh Jacobs is our big tailback at the Raiders, and he's just such a good guy and a good player. I don't know. I get over it. I don't want to cheer for a lot of Bammers, and they don't want to cheer for a lot of Aubs. So it works out good. I get Stidham, and of course I get Legatron, and they get Josh, and they get Anthony Averett was playing for us this year, and then they had Alex until we dropped him, and he went to the Bears, Alex Leatherwood. But it comes and goes. Bo is great in the house. Says, what's up, guys? What's up, Bo? Hope you enjoyed your shout out on the rundown the other day. It was hilarious. I remember it was in the Stoltzy thread. I don't remember exactly what it was. Corey Dub says, can we find a shooter like Scotty Thurman was for Arkansas? What a stud that guy was, huh? And interestingly, Neil McCready coached him in Little League. Yeah, down in Ruston, Louisiana. True story. Scotty was an absolute mess. They also had a kid on that team named Corey Beck, who was a great three-point shooter for those great Arkansas teams. 93, 94, 95. I believe they won the national title in 95, right? And as a Kentucky fan at that time, I really did not like them very much. At all. Okay, I hated them. Kind of gotten over that now, though. Let's see. My daughter's sending me a picture of a very large board. She says, this is the board they have at the Phi Cap House. Is it cool? Yeah. Hell yeah. It's like I call it a mixer. I have a very small one here, but when we do the podcast at the show at the Voodoo, I have a fairly big one that we use there. Patrick S says part 3. No, we're not going to lose it again. I feel like a stranger says we haven't had 2 to 3 guards on the floor together who could consistently pressure the D since F4 team. Yeah, that's probably true. Right? I mean, Sharif wasn't going to help too much there. I do miss Samir. I don't think Samir's underrated with you guys because you guys know the game really well. But Samir, I think, among regular Auburn people who aren't hardcore like y'all are, I think he gets forgotten, and that guy was an absolute stud. Auburn would really benefit from having him right now. That's for sure. He'd be playing 2 all the time. All right, we'll probably wrap it up there, guys. We're an hour and a half into part 2 of this show. I think we had done like 45 minutes in part 1, so we'll probably wrap it up. It's getting kind of late on a weekday night. I know everybody's probably going to work in the morning. So we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm going to be back here on the show Saturday afternoon after the Tennessee game. That game tips at 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock for our friends in the Eastern time zone. Spicy P, I would have given you a time for the West, but you're not there anymore. You're on the East Coast now. So anyway, 1 o'clock, that's going to be on the SEC Network. And I'll be watching the game, doing the game wrap, and then we'll do the show afterwards. It'll probably be like, 3:30, something like that, 4 o'clock. And we'll do that thing right then. So, guys, appreciate all the super chatters out there supporting what we do here. Also, the chatters, I love you guys for making the show palatable and fun. That's what I love about it. Auburn Tigers, again, successful tonight, 94-73 over the hated Georgia Bulldogs. And that puts Auburn at 7-2 in league play. This is probably their the top point for the year because they're going to take some L's, guys. I mean, when you're going at Tennessee, and you got 2 for 2 on Tennessee, 2 for 2 on Alabama, got to go to Kentucky. The SEC did not do them any favors in that second half of the conference season. So don't be freaking out when they might pick up a loss here and there. Don't be weirding out. It's just going to happen sometimes. Because this team has some holes, and that's the deal. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Appreciate you guys being here, especially those who went wire to wire. I think Solo Tigre was here the whole way. Pocket was definitely here the whole way. Corey Dub came in early. Feel like a stranger. Canoeman, I don't know if he's still here, but I know he was here early. D. Lucky jumping in here as well. God, we have so many legends up in here. Patrick S. Patrick B., appreciate you being here, brother. So we'll wrap it up there. See you guys Saturday. Until then, make great decisions. Have fun. Appreciate the great things in your life. That's what really matters, all right? Until then, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. See you. Love you guys. Peace out.